Hello Wanderers and welcome to the channel. Dave the Tabletop Wanderer here, and today we're going to be continuing our Start Solo RPG Now series. So if you haven't checked out the first two videos, we did one on games and free games and pay what you want games and cheap games that you can start playing your solo RPGs. In the second video, we did something about oracles where you could use dice and coins and oracle tables and so on and so forth. Okay, and today I thought about something that comes up quite a bit in the sort of what should you do camp, like go full theater of the mind where you just imagine everything that happens around in the game, or if you should use tokens, minis and stuff like that. Well, for me personally, I do a mixture of both things. I usually do the story beats as theater of the mind, and then when it comes to combat and stuff like that, I also usually turn to other stuff. What I don't usually use a lot is miniatures, because the truth be told, I don't have very much of them. I got this little dwarf guy here, like that. I got some miniatures from this Star Wars game, well, Star Wars board game that my son has, but they're all like, this guy's missing an arm, he got hit in the Clone Wars. But I don't have too many miniatures. I do have the core set of Hero Quest where you have the miniatures that come with the game. But yeah, I like miniatures. For me, they're really nice and all, but first off, I don't have the patience to paint them, and second off, it can get pretty expensive. So I thought about what I could use when I started the channel, and I went ahead and I got some meeples. So yeah, the first thing you can use, if you want to, you can buy some meeples, and like, they're not too expensive. I got like 100 of these for about like $10 or something like that off Amazon, I think it was. And yeah, and what I usually do is the darker meeples, they will be the enemies, and the colored meeples, like for instance the first season of Shadow of Alnor, I used this blue meeple as the Shadow Killian. So yeah, and like for 4 Against Darkness, I just pick out 4 colors and those are my characters. And so yeah, you can use meeples. They're pretty easy to use. I know that, like, I usually tend to throw them down like this so that you can see which way they are facing, and I know John Fredericks from Sharp Mountain Games, he usually puts them up like that, and when they fall or when they die, he turns them over like that. But yeah, like, pretty simple, pretty easy, and you can't go really wrong with them. I do know that meeples aren't a staple of the RPG genre, but you use what you can and what you have, basically. I then looked around and I started to see people using tokens. And yes, tokens, I know a lot of people use tokens for VTTs and stuff like that. But I also do like using tokens. I should say these are my go-to preferred things to use are tokens. And what I ended up doing was grabbing some images off Google and then going to this website and printing them out, punching them out. And I got these little containers that you can see right here, and I marked out, like, I know the ones that are in here are all skeleton warriors. You can also number them on that website. Got number 4, number 2, 9, just in case you have like a whole bunch of these skeleton warriors that are coming to attack you. Imagine there were 4 of them. So yeah, you got these 4, and then you can say, okay, he's going to hit number 1 and number 3. So it's an easier way to manage all the parts that are on the game, on the board, so to speak. Okay, so yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. I got the skeleton warriors here. I made some for snakes, made some for goblins, made some for, these are just random ones, we'll get to these in a minute. Also made some for some battle droids if I'm doing a sci-fi sort of thing. And I do have my heroes and NPCs and characters, stuff like that. So yeah, I got some random images. I think these were actually off some Magic the Gathering cards, if I'm not mistaken. And I got a couple of them here. I got a little, this one I usually use for Saza, which she just came up on the Shadow of Alnor. This one is my Killian Shadow of Alnor. This was the first iteration of Killian, but now I use that one, so this will be just for a drow or something like that. You got a wizard, a necro, stuff like that. These are pretty simple to make, pretty easy to make. They're not expensive to make also. I do have a video on the channel where I go through the process of making these, so I'll leave a link in the description. You can go and check out that video to see if it's for you or not. I think the most expensive stuff would be these epoxy battle caps that you throw on top of them, but yeah, like pretty simple. I also went up and I did these sort of tokens, and these sort of tokens are really good also if you're in like a pinch or something like that and you don't have a certain type of token. For example, I know these are all just random human warriors and fighters or thugs and stuff like that. These are just from a random piece of paper. I used some contact paper, some lamination on these, and punched them out. And what I can do is I can get a, if I could find it right here, I can get a dry erase marker or wet erase marker, and imagine we've got like gargoyles, and I could put gargoyle 1, gargoyle 2, gargoyle 3, and I know these are 3 gargoyles. They're in the map, and once I'm finished I can just go ahead and erase these, and yeah, got it. Pretty simple, pretty easy, not too shabby if I do say so myself. These are basically the tokens, and I'm in the process of making more of them because I do like having the little pictures. They look, not only are they prettier, they look good. Hardly ever use these now, but as you can see, I do have quite a bit of these laminated paper ones, and yeah, I keep them all in here. I got them more or less all labeled so I know what is what. I have the heroes right here, put the gargoyles, heroes, and this little case thing is pretty cool, right? And since this is filled up, I also went ahead and I got some more over here, right? And these are some more, some more of them. So yeah, got some hero characters. This is actually Cole from Outgun, my Outgun adventure, which I do still have to finish up. Yeah, I've got some more here, and I'll just throw these in there. But the good thing about the tokens is that you can also make them the size you want. And you can see, like in the miniature world, because there are miniatures that are like this, but when you're fighting a big sort of dragon or something, the dragon will be pretty big also. So I went ahead and I created some of these. This is the only one I got on hand right now. So this is a pretty big token, and this represents a giant snake. So I also used this in the first season of the Shadow of Alnor. He was the end boss of the game, and so this represented, as you can see, I'll grab one of these here. Imagine this was us, my player, and this would be the snake. So you can see size comparison. Yeah, this will be a totally big snake, and here is the character. Tokens are pretty fun. I like using them. They're cheap to make and they're pretty easy to use also, and on the battle mat, even like for filming purposes from top to bottom, in my opinion, it looks better. You could also, if you got some stuff lying around, just use some random little toys that you have around the home. I got some Lego figures here. I got some Star Wars Lego figurines. They're right here, and yeah, like you can use these. I haven't used them yet, but these are a possibility to be used. I've got these. I don't even know where these came from. It was like this collection that my kid had or something like that, and I can use these every now and again if I want as sort of big monsters also, or medium monsters, like a gargoyle or a stone golem or something like that. You do have, of course, the minis, and like Mage Hammer and Solo Spelunking, they use a lot of minis, but yeah, like I said in the beginning, I don't have that much minis, so I am not gonna go get miniatures and paint them, and no, I do not have the patience for that. Another thing that you can use, and which I am thinking about going back into, is of course your paper minis or paper standees, whatever you want to call them. I did start using them in the beginning, and then I stopped using them because they're a bit of a, how should I say, they look good, they look cool, you can use them and they're pretty good, but I'm sort of a, how should I say, I'm lazy when it comes to some stuff and setting up the whole thing for miniatures. That's why I like the tokens so much. I can just throw down a battle mat, throw up a handful of tokens, and I got everything ready. But yeah, these paper minis come from Printable Heroes. He's got a really wide selection of minis, and these do take a little bit more time to make, but of course they look much better on the table, especially if you have terrain. I do have some terrain. Let me get it. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I do have some terrain here, also from Printable Heroes. And what you do is just basically just print out the files. I got these on some foam board, I think it's called, in the US, and he does also provide some bases for them. And you got your walls, you got the simple walls, you got your doorways and arches. There's some with doors, some without doors. And of course, yeah, like the miniatures, they look better for a more, should I say, immersive experience. You can do this sort of thing, which is not bad. If you got the time to set up the whole thing, they're pretty good. And I do like the miniatures, these paper minis. They do look good. They are pretty fun. Yeah, it's just a thing of having to set up the whole thing. Yeah, it takes a bit of time, and I'm lazy. You could get heroes on Printable Heroes. You can get enemies and NPCs and all of that. And my first ever campaign, which was the Black Flame Society, I did use these, and some of these, there's also some trees and stuff like that. It does look good. I'm not going to say the contrary. They do look really nice, really good. It's just for me the hassle of setting up the whole terrain and everything like that. But of course, you can use whatever you want. You can use dice. I know some people use dice, and the good thing about the dice is you got your colors and you got the HP right on it. Imagine your hero has 10 HP, and that will represent your hero. And let's say you have a enemy. Also, this is my travel kit. I'm getting ready because I'm going out for vacation this week, tomorrow. And I'll be back next week, so I got all my little things up there ready. And you got your hero right here, and you can get a couple of these guys will be your enemies. And yeah, this guy's got 90 HP. Good luck, hero. Yep. You can use whatever you want. I know some people also use, especially with kids, and I've tried it at work and it worked really, really well, with candy. So yeah, the hero that deals the killing blow gets to eat the candy. The kids really enjoy that, and that's the only way they want to play now at the recreation center where I work. It does get quite a bit expensive for me because I have to buy the candy. But there's a lot of things you can use. You can use beans, you can use coins, you can use these little sort of marker things that you can use also. Yeah, the sky's the limit. There's no wrong way or right way of doing it. It's just a matter if you want to have something more immersive, then you would use, terrain and the miniatures, or even paper minis. If you want something right quick, right off the bat, just some dice or some tokens. And if you want to go in between, some paper minis and the terrain also. But you know, it is all up to you. There is no wrong way or right way of doing it. These are just a bit of my tips and tricks, which I do use in my videos, which you can go and check out. And although I've never done with Lego, I have thought about doing it with Lego, but I've never done it with Lego. Never know, I might do something Star Warsy. We shall see. But yeah, there you go. A bit of my experience and my info for you guys. And of course, if you don't want any of this, you can do some theater of the mind, where you just play out the whole combat, the whole thing in your head. Okay. That's about it for today. I really do appreciate everyone for the support, for the views, for the comments. Really do appreciate that. Thank you all for watching. I would like to give a great big shout out to my members, Jamie U2, Mage Hammer Chad, Mini Walmart, T-Flip Rex, and of course the one and only soloist Venture, and I really do appreciate it. And of course, if you want to, you could join my Facebook guild, or my Facebook page. On Facebook, of course, you can join the Discord server. Links are in the description. And if you do want to become a member, you know, up to you. It's just $1 a month, and I do appreciate it. Thank you all. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.